Interview, take one.
My name is Lola Mormino,
And I'm Conner Souza.
and we are the owners of 360 Total Performance. So today we are asking Conner some questions about the junior lifestyle. We know that a lot of kids that we've been working with and have worked with in the past have been pretty intrigued as far as what his junior's lifestyle entails. So we thought we might as well share with you guys kind of the behind the scenes of everything. So my first question for you is, when did you start playing hockey?
So I started playing roller hockey when I was 8 years old, and I transitioned to ice hockey when I was 12.
Why did you do that transition?
Well, I always wanted to start by playing ice hockey, but convenience-wise, and hockey's a very expensive sport, and at the time I was playing a few others, so it all just worked out with where I lived and everything else to start with roller hockey. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to a point to where I knew I wanted to take it more serious, ice hockey was the only path from there.
There's not really a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen that much about high level or pro roller hockey. Is that a thing, or is it?
It is a thing. It's not quite as big, of course, as ice hockey, but there's no route in roller hockey that's the exact same as the one you would take in ice hockey. Like, there's still college roller hockey, but there's no juniors for roller hockey. Yeah, it's something that a lot of ice players will still do on the side, but nothing quite like what there is just for ice in general.
As an ice player, do you still play roller? Do you not?
I actually just got back into it. I took a little break for a few years, but thanks to an old teammate of mine who now plays primarily roller hockey at college, he invited me to play at a NARCH tournament this last summer, and I very much enjoyed it.
I'm sure as a juniors player, it's very time consuming. It's limiting to what you can do. What does your usual day look like as a juniors player?
So, since I am recovering from surgery, I can't update this as of this, for this current season, but going off of last season, my day started at 7 in the morning almost every single day. If not earlier, maybe a little later if I get to sleep on the weekends. But it would start around 7 in the morning, get to the rink by 8 o'clock. I'm making sure that I'm eating, a good breakfast in the morning. Our practices can be anywhere from an hour long, 45 minutes long, to an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how upset coach is at us or how well we played the weekend before. And then after our on ice practice, make sure we're getting in our workout and making sure we get rest and recovery. And then after that, most guys will either have work or school, because we're still trying to either get an education while we still can or make a little extra money on the side.
Very intense and definitely not for everyone. I know I personally couldn't handle that lifestyle for too long, just because it is so physically and mentally taxing, I'm sure. But you did say something about your eating. So what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
Generally, because we are burning so many calories every day, we gotta eat a lot.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it's
in the mornings I'll try and have a protein shake of some sort, get some protein in me, making sure I'm getting in at least a fruit in me in the morning. I'll keep it light too, whether it be some cereal or maybe a yogurt, something light. And then after I skate, it'll be something heavier, maybe a full breakfast of whether it be eggs or toast. Normally I would eat lunch then after I would work out afterwards. And then again, this is all varying on my schedule for that day.
Right.
Lunch can vary anywhere from, I only say this as kind of like a reference, but not specifically, but like a Chipotle bowl or a burrito of some sort. Yeah. So just keeping it light, keeping it healthy, making sure I'm getting in all of the nutrients that I need. As I've grown more and more and I've experienced this lifestyle for the past 2 years now, eating can make or break how you feel on a day-to-day basis.
I'm sure. Yeah, it makes sense why you gotta fuel your body. I know you said you burn up to 2,000 calories in one skate, and that's intense. So
yeah,
you've been in this lifestyle for quite a few years now. Have you felt that there's been any positives that stand out pretty far to you, or negatives that you're like, this is something that I'm not a fan of in the juniors lifestyle? What are some things that you've kind of noticed throughout the years?
There's a ton of positives. For these few years before having to worry about school, I basically get to live as if I'm playing as a pro hockey player in a small town where kids might not know it any different than, oh, their juniors team. So that's definitely a big positive about it, is you get to basically live your childhood fantasy for a little bit, whether you're still paying to play as a juniors player at, maybe the tier 3 level, or whether you get the luxury of not having to pay at all, because obviously we're not getting paid yet. You have no liability in terms of school, so you get to just basically do whatever you want on a day-to-day basis, which can be a ton of fun. So that's definitely one of the positives. Another positive is you learn a ton of life lessons, whether it be pushing through things you might not normally, making sure that every single day you're taking care of yourself so you can still do the job at hand, which is a life skill that I'll be using for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then the negatives, I'm 1,500 miles away from home, a lot different than most guys who are maybe an hour or two from home,
right,
depending on wherever they're playing. But I'm a 26-hour drive. Definitely hard being away from home, being away from friends and family. But this is a dream that I've had since I was 4 years old. So I'm, while I still can, I'm doing whatever I can do, kind of push for it.
So you said that there's a lot of things that you have to work through throughout the juniors lifestyle. What have been some of the adversities you've had to work through throughout your journey?
I've had a few small and quite a few big, unfortunately. I'll start with the small and work my way up here. Smallest one was kind of the most unfortunate one was last year when I got upset after a play and punched the boards, and I got a hairline fracture in my knuckle and I missed 5 games.
So that's what you don't do as a juniors player.
That was one of the silliest ones, for lack of a better word. One of the silliest things I've had to work through was walking around with a splint on my hand, knowing fullingly that I could have avoided that. And then just daily fatigue is kind of the easiest one. Is there are some days where you're waking up and you're like, man, I really wish I could sleep until 10. Like there are days where you are just not feeling waking up at 7 and giving absolutely everything you got in you, but you have to. That's what you sign up for. That's why you sign your contract. That's you are signing yourself to give everything you have for that team, and because you have those bigger goals in mind, whether it be moving up to a higher level, whether it be for colleges, it's something that you got to do. So that's where I think juniors has really been a big positive for me, because it's taught me how to do that. And then now moving on to the bigger adversities, spraining my ankle 2 weeks out of playoffs in my first year. It was a high ankle sprain, and I was back playing through it in 4 weeks. When I played for the Junior Sharks, 18 AAA, I lost my dad to cancer when I was 17 years old. And that next weekend, I was playing in Dallas. We had a weekend there. I don't remember a whole lot from that weekend, if I'm being completely honest. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to push through. And then, so that was 3 years ago now. But my most recent one happened 2 months ago. Major lung surgery. I had pneumonia that kind of went sideways on me. So I had a ton of scar tissue basically trapping my lung to where my chest started collapsing because my lung wasn't expanding. So I had to have all that scar tissue removed so my lung could re-expand, and then I had to have all of that gunk and fluid removed as well.
Right.
That one, at least physically, has been the most challenging to push through. And mentally, of course, losing my dad takes the cake for that one, but that one...
That's not even the same category.
Right. But this one, it's just been watching my body kind of transform into what it hasn't been in, years, if ever. I'm trying to do things on the ice that I could do before surgery, and it's not there, or it's slow, or it's rusty. So it's just been hard mentally to keep trusting that it will come back. My recovery, I will get feeling back where I'm still numb. I will be back to my shape that I was in the summer before surgery.
It's a long journey, but absolutely achievable. I mean, look at what you've gone through. It's not like you're not able to get through this, and I think that's good for a lot of players to know, especially if they're going through something right now and they feel like, what am I doing here? It's like, anything that happens, it's like you have your choice of deciding, no, I'm gonna get through this and I'm gonna, figure it out no matter what it takes. Yeah, your whole story is very inspiring, and I feel that the youth that we work with and the youth around the world, could definitely feel some sort of motivation from your story. So that being said, do you have any words of advice for whether it's youth, adults, juniors players, anybody? Do you have any words of advice throughout your journey that you want to share?
The easiest thing I could say is trust the process, whether that be rehab of any kind, physical therapy, whether that be you're improving a weakened skill of yours, whether it be learning a new skill, being on a new team, playing on a new level, whatever it is, just trust that process of you're working hard every day, you're doing everything you possibly can, those results will come. I've seen that in so many aspects of whether it be kids that we've worked with, whether that be myself in different aspects of my game. So it's just trusting that process, taking it one step at a time, and then you gotta believe in yourself. You have to. If you don't know that you can do it, then you're gonna hold yourself back more than any person that is trying to discourage you will ever do. Yeah, so trust the process, one step at a time, and believe in yourself.
I love that. Well, that's all the questions I have. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know we enjoyed it. We love sharing our stories, and we hope that our stories, in this case Conner's, can kind of enlighten you and inspire you for your own journey and path. If you do have more questions, please feel free to DM us. You can also DM Conner on his personal page. I can leave this right here. And yeah, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this, and we will see you guys soon.